codes. State tactical winter. Oh, this was the gear for fire police. They ran that part like, I think it was the commander, not the commander, the captain that was in charge when I joined. He was there for a long time, and nobody really asked questions. When I went there, I'm thinking, wow, nobody had, question, I wasn't crazy with him, and he was almost to the point there where he was getting annoyed. Now this was after the meeting, does anybody have any questions? Well, yeah, I do. One is, I'm new. Two is, there was a lot in that report that you just said that meant nothing. Well, my opinion, he was stealing. We were getting, when I took over, and even when Joe took over before me, Joe took it because he was the oldest one there at the time as far as membership wise, so he automatically fell into it. At the end of that term, they voted me in. He even voted me in. He didn't want it. But meanwhile, they never really checked anything or investigated anything. So the original one, I'm going to call the guy that was in charge when I got there, who was an attorney, by the way. And I never seen him on a call. However, he had said that we had a $1,500 yearly budget for materials, coats, winter stuff, boots, whatever. Things that you wouldn't want to wear somebody else's, like a boot. I'm not going to wear somebody else's boot. I don't know if this guy had a problem, because the boots they had weren't boots that you could put your shoe and boot, your foot in complete. You had to take shoes off. Well, first of all, that shouldn't be. But anyway, when I got in, I found out it was $2,500 budget. Yeah. Then I found out that, now here's the thing, you're an attorney. You're working at a private school, which is, okay, but it's not a big known one. It's known in the 5 or 6 towns that it's within. Let's just say it's known in New Haven County. But other than that, it's not a really, it's not a Yale or a Harvard or anything like that. It's a school. It's not even a college. It's just a school. And he was in charge of security. Okay. Well, wait a minute. You're an attorney. Why are you working as a security guard? Make sure everybody gets off the bus okay, everybody gets on the bus okay. If there's a fight, you go. It wasn't even an armed account, which I don't agree with all the time anyway. Armed people working in a school should have special training. But anyway, I'm thinking about this. Then when I found out $2,500 expense, well, we only had, he was telling us $1,500, and nobody knew where all our equipment was. So finally the chief says, oh, it's all down here in all our equipment. He says, it's all over there in the corner. I went down there and I look, and it's just piled up. Not a lot, but it's piled up, and there was quite a bit there. But nobody signs for anything. Nobody had anything. He never said, okay, let's have, Joe, you need one of these. Sign the paper. Harry, you need one of these. Sign the paper. None of that. All right? You're out there on your own. You may have had a couple of cones, safety cones, and a raincoat. So anyway, when I get in there, I said, everybody, we have all this stuff down there. The chief wants us to get rid of it, because we're taking up room for the on duty, the pay. So why don't we have this in our, so when we get there, we're ready. We don't have to get there and then get undressed, or if we can get there and get undressed, but it's in our car, we don't have to look for it, whatever. Where's the guy with all the equipment, well, we don't have one of them, So anyway, what I did was I put a list together. I gave one to everybody. We filled it all out together. They signed it, and I had a copy of it. And I made a copy of the blank. All right, and I probably still have their other ones on a CD someplace or a thumb drive, you know. But at least everybody now had the gear. It's not just sitting in there. You know, paid fire is a different story. You know, that's their closet. They're there. Hello, bell goes off. They walk out of their quarters and they go into their monster closet and they're done. We didn't have any of that. You know, first of all, we're coming from our house, you know, or wherever we may be at the time, you know, and our equipment being in there that we don't go to get with, no, forget about it. So it's time to start putting it in your trunk. And what I had done was I bought everybody off the expenses. I bought it, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So you want to spend it. Sometimes it's even good to ask for a little more. So, you know, even if they say no, that's fine. At least they're going to let you keep what you have. That's a game the government plays, by the way. Yeah, so at that point, I bought one of those big storage things with the snap lid, you know, that can fit in the trunk of their car or the back seat. And I put your equipment in there, keep it in your car, all right, and that's it. All right? When you can either get dressed while you're out there at home, get dressed when you're pulling up. You know, don't pull up where you're ready to work because you're not dressed yet. So don't be putting on your lights and plan on getting out there. Get dressed, make it quick, and then get in there. Yeah, and that's what this is all about. That and the codes. Because sometimes we're working next to East Haven, sometimes we're working next to Guilford, North Branford. All these other books I got over here. Holy gee. I gotta go through these someday. Oh, that's when I took the weather course. Weather. Navigation, rules and courses. What's this one? I didn't mark that one. I have no idea what that is. Alright, anyway, I'm done with that. That's not what I thought it was, so I still have to look or print it out. And now I know where you got that, you little thief. You went in there and took that, didn't you? Yes. Oh, don't look at me like, oh, you talking to me, Dad? No, don't be giving me those puppy dog eyes. Where'd this come from? Oh, over here. Oh no, this is water. This goes over here. Over here. Okay, let's turn off some of these lights. Because it is getting dark. And, oh, let me turn these off back here. I normally don't turn these on. I gotta go through this drawer. That's gonna be another easy day for me. Yeah, the drawer that I keep those little containers in that have all those plastic parts and fittings, parts, not farts, fittings and things, it's a mess. Because those things kept popping open. Every time you open the drawer, they fall out into the drawer. So tomorrow we're going to take care of that. Put this back. Yeah, I'm done with that.